Imagine yourself living in the world of Dexter's lab. The sprawling house hides a secret far more intriguing than its suburban exterior suggests. Deep below the surface, Dexter's laboratory hums with energy-endless circuits, wires and machines working in perfect harmony under the genius of the boy scientist. Today, though, you've been invited to see it for yourself. Dexter had approached you at school, uncharacteristically eager to show you something special. "I need an extra pair of hands," he said, "and I trust you to handle the delicate stuff." Flattered, you agreed, not knowing exactly what delicate stuff meant in Dexter's terms. The moment you stepped through the front door of his house, he whisked you down to his lab, hidden behind a bookshelf with a lever disguised as a random book on the shelf. The wall slides open, revealing a stairway down into the depths of the lab. You follow Dexter, the soft hum of machines growing louder as you descend. His lab is far bigger than you expected. The walls are lined with monitors. Mechanical arms hang from the ceiling, and machines of every imaginable size and function whir in a never-ending cycle of innovation. In the middle of it all is Dexter, typing away on his console, focusing on some contraption hidden under a tarp in the corner. "All right," Dexter says, swiveling around to face you, adjusting his glasses. "I'm working on something that could change everything, but I need your help." Your heart races. Dexter, the most brilliant mind you've ever met, needs your help. You step closer as he pulls the tarp off to reveal a machine unlike anything you've seen before. It's roughly the size of a fridge, covered in blinking lights, and a large cylindrical chamber at the center. "This," Dexter says, beaming with pride, "is the Chrono Accelerator 3000. With this, I can control the flow of time itself. I can speed it up, slow it down, whatever I need." He points to the chamber in the middle. "But I need a live test, and that's where you come in." You hesitate. "A live test?" Dexter nods, completely oblivious to your concern. "Oh, it's perfectly safe. Probably." He adds quickly, "That's why I asked you to help. If anything goes wrong, I have plenty of backup plans." Before you can object, Dexter is already setting up the machine. The large cylinder opens, revealing a small platform inside. He motions for you to step in. "It'll just be for a few seconds. We'll start slow." You step inside, unsure of what's about to happen. The door closes around you with a soft click. Dexter's voice echoes from the control panel. "Ready?" You barely manage a nervous yes before the hum of the machine intensifies. Your surroundings blur, the world outside the chamber spinning faster and faster. As the Chrono Accelerator roars to life, you feel a strange sensation like the air around you has thickened. Everything outside the chamber seems to move at lightning speed, while you remain frozen in place. Your heart pounds as you watch Dexter zip around his lab, his movements so fast they're a blur. He adjusts knobs, checks monitors, and occasionally glances at you with a determined expression. Suddenly, everything stops. The machine's hum quiets, and the chamber door slides open. You step out, feeling dizzy, but otherwise unharmed. Dexter claps his hands together. It worked. You were frozen in time for exactly 10 seconds, while the rest of the world sped up by a factor of 100. Remarkable, isn't it? You nod, trying to process what just happened. "So, you can control time?" "Exactly," Dexter says, a proud grin spreading across his face. "But that was just the beginning. Now we move on to phase 2. He rushes back to his console, his fingers flying across the keyboard. "I'm going to slow down time for you next. It'll feel like you're moving at super speed compared to everything else." You blink. "Wait, slow down time? Are you sure it's safe?" Dexter waves his hand dismissively. "Of course it's safe. Well, mostly. I've accounted for almost every variable. Besides, what could possibly go wrong?" He gives you an encouraging nod. "This is science." Before you can protest further, Dexter pulls a lever, and the machine hums back to life. You step into the chamber once again, feeling the now familiar vibration under your feet. The door seals shut, and the lights flicker as the machine powers up. This time, when the machine activates, the world outside moves incredibly slowly. Dexter's movements become sluggish, like he's wading through molasses. You look down at your hands, which feel completely normal. You raise one, watching it cut through the air as if nothing has changed for you, while everything around you crawls at a fraction of its normal speed. You take a step forward, marveling at how effortless it feels. You're moving through a world where time itself seems to have slowed, but you're unaffected. Dexter, still moving at a snail's pace, looks up at you, his mouth slowly forming the words, "How does it feel?" It's surreal, like walking through a dream where you're the only thing that's real. You take another step, then another, testing the limits of this newfound ability. The world is yours to navigate at lightning speed, while everything else barely moves. But then something strange happens. The humming of the machine grows louder, more frantic. The lights on the control panel flicker erratically. You glance back at Dexter, but he's too slow to react. The machine starts shaking, and you feel a sudden jolt, like reality itself is stretching. Before you can react, everything goes white. The light is blinding, and you feel yourself being pulled out of time entirely, like you're falling through an endless void. When the light fades, you're no longer in Dexter's lab. You're somewhere else. The world around you has completely changed. You're standing in a strange landscape that looks nothing like Dexter's lab or anywhere you've ever been. The ground beneath your feet is a swirling mix of colors, like someone spilled every shade of paint into one giant whirlpool. The sky above is a constantly shifting gradient, with no clear sun or horizon. It's as if you've stepped into a dimension where the laws of physics have no meaning. You turn in place, trying to get your bearings, but there's no clear point of reference. Everything feels unstable, like you're inside a dream that could change at any second. "Dexter?" You call out, hoping to hear his voice, but there's only silence. Suddenly, a voice soft and echoing calls back to you. You're not supposed to be here. You spin around, heart racing, trying to locate the source of the voice. But there's no one in sight, just endless swirls of color and light. "You don't belong here," the voice continues, closer this time. You feel a chill crawl up your spine. It's as if the world itself is speaking to you. Before you can respond, something strange appears in front of you, shapes forming out of the swirling colors. At first, they're just blobs, but soon they start to take on familiar forms. Faces, objects, pieces of Dexter's lab, but distorted like reflections in a funhouse mirror. You see Dexter's figure materialize, only to warp and bend, as if the space itself is twisting him. "This can't be real," you mutter to yourself, backing away from the strange vision. But the warped version of Dexter steps forward, his mouth stretching into an unnatural grin. "You've broken time," the distorted Dexter says, his voice eerily calm. "And now you must fix it." "Fix it? How?" you ask, panic rising in your chest. "I don't even know where I am." The warped figure tilts his head. "You're in the time void, a place between moments, between realities. You've slipped out of your own timeline, and unless you find a way back, you'll be lost here forever." The words hit you like a ton of bricks. Lost forever? You shake your head, trying to keep calm. "No, that's not possible. Dexter can get me out. I just need to—" "Dexter can't help you here," the distorted figure interrupts, his form flickering. "He doesn't even know this place exists." Your heart pounds in your chest as you realize you might be on your own. "Then what do I do? How do I get back?" The figure steps closer, his warped shape towering over you. "To return, you must find the anchor. It's the only thing that can pull you back into your reality." "Anchor? What does that even mean?" "You'll know it when you see it," the voice says, starting to fade. "But be warned, time doesn't work the way you think here. If you take too long, it may already be too late. Before you can ask more, the figure vanishes into the swirling void, leaving you alone. The colors around you begin to shift again, the world rippling as if reality itself is unstable. You take a deep breath, realizing you have no choice but to find this mysterious anchor before time runs out. You stand in the middle of the strange, shifting landscape, your mind racing. An anchor, you don't know what it is, but it's your only hope of getting back to your reality. The swirling colors around you seem to pulse in time with your heartbeat, warping and changing every second, as if the time void itself is alive. You start walking, unsure of where to go or what to look for. Every step feels heavy, like the ground is trying to pull you down, and the air around you is thick, slowing your movements. The voice's warning echoes in your head. Time doesn't work the way you think here. You don't know how long you have, but you sense that it's running out. Suddenly, something catches your eye in the distance, a flicker of light that seems solid, unlike everything else in this place. It's far off, but it's the only thing that stands out in this chaotic world. With renewed determination, you start heading toward it. As you walk, the landscape shifts around you, constantly changing. At one moment, you're surrounded by towering, abstract shapes that resemble melted versions of familiar objects from Dexter's lab tools, gadgets, even what looks like a distorted version of his giant robot. In another moment, the ground beneath you turns transparent, revealing a swirling vortex of colors beneath your feet. But you keep going, focusing on the light ahead. The closer you get, the more the surroundings feel like they're fighting against you. The air grows thicker, and time itself seems to slow down, making each step a struggle. You grit your teeth, pushing forward despite the growing resistance. Finally, after what feels like an eternity, you reach the source of the light. It's an object floating in the air, glowing with a steady golden light. It's small, about the size of a baseball, and it pulses gently, like a heartbeat. You know instinctively that this is the anchor. You reach out to grab it, but just as your fingers brush against the surface, the ground shakes violently. The colors around you start swirling faster, and the air buzzes with energy. Something is happening, and it's not good. Without warning, a loud, booming voice echoes through the void. You've tampered with time. Now, it will tamper with you. You spin around, searching for the source of the voice, but there's nothing there. Just the swirling chaos of the time void. But then, out of the swirling colors, shapes begin to emerge. They're not distorted like before this time. They're more defined, more real. Figures you recognize. Mandark, Dexter's rival, steps out of the void, his smirk widening as he approaches. But something's wrong. His movements are jerky, like a puppet being controlled by invisible strings. "You really thought you could escape?" Mandark says, his voice dripping with malice. "You're trapped here, just like the rest of us." Behind him, more figures appear, twisted versions of people from your life, all flickering and unstable, like they don't quite belong in this place. Your heart races as they begin to surround you. "I have to get out of here," you mutter to yourself, clutching the glowing anchor tighter. The ground beneath your feet starts to crumble, pieces of the swirling landscape falling away into nothingness. With no other option, you focus on the anchor, hoping it holds the power to pull you back to your world. You close your eyes and concentrate, willing the anchor to work. The world around you begins to blur again, but this time it's different. The swirling chaos starts to slow, the figures around you fading into the background. The light of the anchor grows brighter, enveloping you completely. And then, just as quickly as it began, everything goes silent. When you open your eyes, you're no longer in the time void. You're back in Dexter's lab, lying on the floor next to the now silent chrono accelerator. You blink, disoriented, as the familiar sights and sounds of Dexter's lab come into focus. The faint hum of machinery, the cold metal floor beneath you, it's all real again. Your heart is still racing, but the swirling chaos of the time void is gone. You sit up, looking around, trying to catch your breath. Dexter is standing by his console, furiously typing away, completely oblivious to what just happened. His back is turned to you, and he's muttering under his breath, clearly frustrated by something. "Okay, maybe I miscalculated a tiny bit," he says, more to himself than to you. The chrono accelerator shouldn't have caused that kind of temporal feedback. You push yourself to your feet, still holding the anchor. It's no longer glowing, just a dull metallic object in your hand now, but you keep it close. "Dexter?" He jumps, startled by your voice, and turns around to face you. "Oh, you're back." "Excellent." He smiles, as if nothing out of the ordinary has happened. "I told you the experiment would be perfectly safe. I just need to make a few adjustments for the next phase. But overall, I'd say it was a success." You stare at him in disbelief. "A success? I almost got trapped in some time void. There were warped versions of you and Mandark, and reality was falling apart." Dexter frowns, tilting his head. "Time void? That's unexpected. The chrono accelerator wasn't supposed to send you anywhere near that kind of temporal anomaly." "Anomaly?" You shout, still trying to wrap your head around what you just went through. "Dexter, I could have been stuck there forever." Dexter waves his hand dismissively, like it's no big deal. "Well, you weren't, so no harm done." He steps closer, eyes narrowing in curiosity as he glances at the object in your hand. "What's that?" You hold up the anchor. "This is what saved me. The warped version of you told me it was the only way to get back." Dexter peers at it, intrigued. "Fascinating. I've never seen anything like it." He reaches for it, but you instinctively pull it back. "No offense, Dexter, but I'm keeping this, just in case." Dexter raises an eyebrow, then shrugs. "Fair enough. It's probably a good idea to hang on to it. Who knows when something like this could happen again?" You sigh, still feeling the weight of everything that just happened. "I think I've had enough of time experiments for a while." Dexter chuckles, completely unfazed. "Oh, come on. You've just scratched the surface of temporal science. We're on the verge of discovering something incredible. I'll just need to recalibrate a few things, and then—" "No," you say firmly, cutting him off. "Seriously, Dexter, no more time machines. At least, not with me and them." Dexter looks mildly disappointed, but nods. Fine. I'll table the time experiments for now." "But you have to admit, it was an adventure, wasn't it?" You give him a look, but you can't deny the truth. It was an adventure, though not one you're eager to repeat. You glance down at the anchor one last time, feeling a sense of relief wash over you. You survived something you didn't even know existed, and for now, you're happy to leave the mysteries of time behind. Dexter's phone beeps on the console, and he glances at it. "Oh, looks like Dee Dee is about to get home. I'd better lock the lab before she finds her way in again." You chuckle, despite everything. "Yeah, wouldn't want her messing with your inventions." Dexter smiles. "Thanks for your help today. You've been a good test subject or assistant." He grins sheepishly, and you can't help but smile back. With that, Dexter taps a few buttons on the console, and the lab begins to power down. The secret door to the house opens, and you step through, back into the normal, everyday world. As the doors slide shut behind you, you take a deep breath. Normal never felt so good.